Hey, peace, peace. What's happening, though? Welcome to another edition or another episode, the Out the Way podcast, man. Get right into it, man. We're going to talk about the rat race today. The rat race, not too many people talk about, not too many people bring up, but it's something that, has been on my mind, something that I wanted to talk about. And that's just running this race with no finish line in this life, man. Like not having no real game plan, not having no real strategy, not having no really end goal, you know what I'm saying, to the game, you know what I'm saying, no end game. And that's something that we need to really consider and think about, man. How exhausting it can be, man. It's very exhausting, man. All you doing is you just working, 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 and you burning yourself out. You're getting exhausted. You're getting tired. It's like endless burnout, rather. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like you're having fun because you might go out. You might go out to dinner. You might, go out and see a show, a concert, comedy, go see a comedy show. These are different things that you're doing, but aren't you burning yourself out though? Like, do you know it? Like, are you having those mental health days? Are you getting some rest? Are you sitting with yourself? Are you, if you got your spouse, are you guys taking mental health days off? Even showing like if you got kids, are you, showing the kids like, oh, mommy needs to have, a break. I'm, doing a little self care, or daddy needs a break. Son, daughter, I'm having a mental health day or a mental health moment. And this is what it looks like. How was school? You know what I mean? Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling burnt out? Because that's where the training starts. And this is not necessarily about kids, but I'm throwing it in there for those who got kids and maybe don't know how to properly show them the way. Like my pops, when I came up, my pops used to come home and meditate. And we used to know at that time when he's in the middle of the room and you coming down them stairs, be quiet. Don't say nothing. And he usually did it after he came home from work. Come home from work, he just sitting there in the middle of the room, eyes closed, just taking it all in, giving himself a break because that's the only bit of peace he got inside the chaos. You know what I'm saying? So he's blocking out everything so he can get, you know, ease his mind. I didn't know what it was at the time. I just knew that I couldn't go in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, and if I did, I better not take nothing that, you know what I'm saying? Because he's not asleep, so he can just snap out of it whenever he wants to. You know what I'm saying? So I got to be mindful. I can't go in the kitchen and try to take something that I ain't supposed to be having, you know. But think looking back at it now as an adult, it's like, oh, that was his piece. That was his moment of self care outside of going to the gym and doing stuff like that. That was the way in which he was able to, give his mind a break. A lot of us don't give our mind a break. Some of us may do it. We sit in our car for an hour or two, but are we really giving ourselves a break? Or are we just avoiding something when we do that? Because sometimes we're just avoiding going in the house for whatever reason. We don't feel like dealing with what's going on inside the house. The house may not be a peaceful place. And our last bit of peace comes from us sitting inside that car. Or it could be, you know, that's where we get our moment, you know what I mean, of mental health in that moment because we got so much going on. We can't really afford to take a break, where we able to go and do a staycation or a real vacation for even 3 to 4 days or 2 days. Not right now because we in the rat race. These bills is piling up. We got too many bills. And this light bill, this mortgage, this rent, this car note, this auto insurance, this medical bill. All these bills are just coming out of nowhere. You get what I'm saying? Like, damn, oh, who, what? Damn, this credit card bill. But then when we was doing this consumerism, this spending, we wasn't really too concerned. We wasn't really too concerned with all of that at the time. We got to be mindful. Then you got these new practices that's coming in where the new form of leeway, like certain fintech companies, where these different fintech companies, what they do now is they'll say, okay, here goes $100. You can just, buy it with this on this credit, and then, you just pay us back, and, on at a 35% interest. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. So we got to be mindful of what we're looking at because now they're starting to come in more and more and more. And as you make that purchase, oh, here goes 350. You make that purchase, here goes 1,000. You make that purchase, now the number keeps going up, and you keep being a consumer thinking like, oh man, I got more money I can spend. No, you got more money you can borrow. That's what that is. It's a difference between spending what's yours and borrowing something that you got to pay back with interest. So that's some things we got to be mindful of what we're doing. The day-to-day grind with no reset, working 8 to 16 hours, whether you're doing, if you're an entrepreneur or if you're working a regular job, you got multiple jobs. I mean, I remember it was a point in time I had like 2 or 3 jobs, and I may have talked about it before, but I'm not sure. And I don't even know where the money was going. You know what I'm saying? I just was working, trying to make something happen. So it's about getting organized, man. A lot of times people get second jobs or they get a side hustle. They do some gig economy work or something like that. And that's cool. But it has to be a game plan attached to it. And it can't be like in a consumer mindset. That consumer mindset, man, messes all of us up, man. I am not exempt from this. I am not exempt. I'm just sharing with what I've been paying attention to, what I've been working on, what I've been building, and just giving it to y'all because it's like, man, I wasn't understanding all this stuff, man. I didn't learn all this stuff right away. But, as I learn and I start to see what's working, was the people who out here who's suffering and who's going through stuff, who always need to borrow money, this and that. Now, by God's grace, I ain't never really had to be just borrow money from people. Cause if you know me and you're not family, like I probably never really borrowed much money from you, like at all. Like, let's be honest. Like, come on now. Like I probably borrowed like 100, 200, maybe. No real money. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have I ever had to borrow, you know what I'm saying, like that outside of I utilize my resources to the best of my ability, and I try to think of ways to get to it. But like I say, from the last episode, we was talking about building your foundation. If you're building on sand or if you're building on concrete. Now, some of the methods, like I say, you get back into these lightweight predatorial lending fintech companies, you can get into that position to where you're starting to like, oh man, I don't even got to ask my cousin. I'm finna just borrow this money from this fintech company to buy this. And now as this money goes up, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just keep borrowing from this fintech company. But you gotta be mindful because they know this and they're low key. See, they're not the payday loan people no more. They see like a lot of people, they like, man, I ain't doing payday loan. I ain't doing that. Now they're finding ways to have you pay additional money for layaway. Ain't no more Kmart. I know some of y'all young people, whoever's young listening to this, they don't even know what Kmart is. I ain't never been to Kmart, Circuit City, none of these places. You know what I'm saying? But these places used to exist. They used to have, just like today, Targets and stuff like that. Like where you go in there and you put money down, 10% or more on something you want to purchase, and then you pay it off a little bit by a little bit. When your money come in, you go put some more money on it, put some more money on it. Then when you finally pay it off, you take it home with you, whatever it is. Back then, well, there was a bike, video game, TV, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's what you did. That's what we did. And, that's just how that went. So we got to be mindful, man, just really be mindful of this consumption that's going on out here, man. And that's kind of like the way in which we can kind of like start curving things and start winning when we are not being the primary consumers, especially for products that are not made by us. You know what I'm saying? Like we're just consuming. But I ain't gonna lie, man. I pay for convenience. So don't even let me sit up here and talk like I'm just like, man, I just buy black and this and that. I'm paying for convenience, man. The best way I can, but I do support when I'm able to support, you know what I'm saying, for sure. Let's go to the next thing here. Let me see what else I got on my list. It's a rat race because there's no finish line. And in life, you don't never want to be like, okay, I'm done. No, I'm not saying, okay, just be done with life. What I'm saying is that sometimes we don't even have goals, or the goals are too small, and then we reach those goals, and then we reach them again, and then we just keep hitting those goals. We're not expanding our goals. We got bottle service goals. We got, I'm going to the Caribbean goals. I got my passport. I'm about to go out the country goals. But we don't have like those long-term saving plan goals, those long-term investment plan goals, those long-term legacy goals, or what happened to me today goals, like the no life insurance type goals. Like it's like some of the most basic things we can get that we see, that we literally see, especially with that community. Like if everybody, you banging, woo woo, but get life insurance, bro, sis, whoever. Have that life insurance ready to go. Something happened to you, man. Ain't nobody paying no cupcakes and no GoFundMe's, no whatever else. You know what I'm saying? T-shirts and all that. That became like a tradition, and I understand it. And ain't nothing really wrong with the T-shirts. I ain't gonna even lie. Even if you do get life insurance, man, I think the T-shirts should still be printed up. The cupcakes should still get bought. We just don't need to go fund me. Because now we got the funds to go get those T-shirts made to represent for our loved one that's no longer here. Nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is that leaving legacy. Don't be selfish. Get life insurance today. You know what I'm saying? Imagine somebody that passed away right in your family and they had life insurance. Imagine what you will be able to do with your life after you finish grieving, after you put them to rest, and what's left over, what's the remainder. Maybe you had some bills. Maybe you had like $10,000, $15,000 worth of bills. But that life insurance policy was like $50,000 life insurance policy, and to bury them real nicely was 20 grand, for a real nice surface, right? That y'all wanted to put on. You know what I'm saying? It goes to the funeral home. You know what I'm saying? And then now you got like 20,000 left over. Your bills was at 15. Now you got 5,000 in your pocket with all your bills paid up. You get what I'm saying? So imagine if you had more and you had more bills. That's all I'm saying. You feel what I'm saying? So get these policies. You know what I mean? Because for you and your household, you know what I mean? Like this is very important because that's the start. That's just the start. That's not even like that's the start. You feel me? So yeah, that's what I'm saying when it comes to that. And then from there, we got to plan out, save things. You got to look at it like if something was to happen today, if your business, if you went out of business, if you are an entrepreneur or if you became unemployed, okay, yeah, for one, the benefit of being a W-2 person on the plantation is this. You'll get unemployment, but unemployment ain't too much, right? Depending on our overhead and our lifestyle. So what happens is this: if you have 3 to 6 months worth of income, or of what your monthly routines look like, saved up, that's a little less of a headache. Sometimes things collide together, and then it's like, yeah, somebody just passed away, and I lost my job. Get what I'm saying? Now your mental health is really being affected, 100%. You know what I mean? That's tragic. But you're supposed to be tough. You're supposed to just, man, just take it on the chin and just, push through. Just push through. It's gonna be okay. That's what everybody gonna send you, on your social media. Condolences. It's all right. It's gonna be okay. You know what I'm saying? Stay strong. All that words of encouragement and affirmation. No bread. You feel me? That's why you gotta have your bread right. Because imagine that happening, right? And then you got life insurance. A loved one just passed, but they had life insurance. Boom. You're grieving, but you're financially okay. You lost your job because you need to go to the services, or you need to take care of certain things because that loved one was taking care of everything, right? Now you got a little bit of bread because you saved up 3 to 6 months worth of income just in case something happened. Now you laid off with bread. Now that's not a worry no more. You get what I'm saying? So they're like these are some of the safety nets that we got to understand when it comes to getting into this rat race. Because a lot of times we get in this rat race and we just spend it right along with what we make. We spend it. We got 6 figures. We spending 6 figures. We got 6 figures. We spending 6 figures. Whatever the case may be, 5 figures, I don't care. You're spending it. If you make 200,000 a year and you spending 199,000 a year, you're probably in the red because you didn't even account for taxes. You get what I'm saying? When a person is out here making 30,000, 40,000 a year and they tucking away 20, 30% of that, they actually winning. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, I'm not no financial advisor, none of that. I'm just giving some real numbers and real life experiences on what it looks like, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to getting involved in this rat race and how we break ourselves away from this rat race, right? So let me keep it going. Let me see what else. Lived it, made, spend it, repeat. Yeah, so that's the one I just talked about, man. You just live it, you make it, you spend it, you repeat. Yeah, man, then finally, man, the way out, it's kind of like what I've been saying. It's kind of like creating those safety nets and exit plans, exit strategies. Doesn't matter if got your own business, you got to have an IRA. You can have your self-employed, 401ks. You can have, of course, life insurance. Some people get it through their jobs, but if you're independent, you got to go through an independent agent. Man, these are just some things just to deal with the hardships of life and the reality of life that's going to happen anyway. You know what I'm saying? The more that we prepare for this and prepare our families for this and things like that, the better off. You know what I'm saying? When my pops passed in 2018, I wish he had life insurance, man. I wish. You know what I'm saying? All that preaching he did, he ain't got no life insurance. You know what I'm saying? But he gave up game. So shout out to my pops, shout out to him. You get what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is like, we're not all exempt from this, but this is something you learn. Some people be like, man, well, I ain't even got nobody to leave it to, man. I ain't got no kids, I ain't got this and that. And you got somebody on this earth that you love, that, you know what I'm saying, that you respect, that you can leave it to. So if you ain't got no kids to leave it to, you ain't got no spouse to leave it to, you got somebody. A sibling, a auntie, a friend, don't matter. You know what I'm saying? What matters is protecting yourself, your life, protecting your legacy, getting out of the rat race, spending less than you make, you know what I mean? Uh, and it's easier said than done because it's real tempting out here. It's real tempting to just spin that, spin that. You know what I mean? So we gotta be mindful of what we consuming too. You know what I mean? Shout out to the good music that's out here with the nice beats, but we have to stay mindful. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? So anyway, man, this wraps up another episode of the Out the Way podcast. I'm your boy JD Out the Way, man. And as always, as I say, man, stay solid with your solids. Be good to be good at it. Hustle with patience. Master your pace. Stay in it and out the way. Real brief, though.